Golu. Hey guys, KRX50 here with another review. This time I'll be reviewing the MagiLamp from Maho Sentai Magiranger. This is a magic lamp that is both a treasure of Magitopia, the realm from which magic derives from, and the primary weapon of heavenly hero MagiShine. So it includes just what you see in front of you, the MagiLamp itself. So first we can take a look at it here, where it is in lamp mode. It is modeled after a Arabian oil lamp, and you might think this shape was derived from the lamp in Aladdin, but this is actually relatively accurate to what an Arabian oil lamp looks like. It has this slender shape with a handle right here, and the way one of these would work is you have this, which is a lid. It would come off, you would pour oil into it, and there would be a wick that would come out of this spout here, and it would be lit. It would be used as a lamp to see in darkness, and it would be like this with all this oil in here, so that it could produce a consistent flame that would keep going until it was either put out or the oil ran out. And it is this nice golden color with blue accents and a nice textured design along it. Going down this part here, have the base, which is wide like this, has the battery compartment here with these three nubs so that it can rest well on a flat surface. Have the handle and the spout. Also have the Magiranger M right here on both sides. Additionally, as you would expect from a magic lamp, this has a genie inside, and you can actually have a glimpse of the genie while it's in this mode. So what you have here is this little rubber, this little rubbing dial that can go left or right, and you can rub it either way to have the genie pop out. And this is Smoky the magical cat. Now you'll notice I didn't call him Smoky the genie, and that's because Smoky was not always a genie. He was a magical cat born from a volcano on Magitopia, and he started out his life as a troublemaker or a prankster. And he went around playing tricks and pranks on the residents of Magitopia until he came upon a large treasure hoard which had a mysterious box that he was curious about what was inside. MagiShine then came to him and warned him not to open it, but he did anyway, and he was beset by a terrible curse. So, in pity, MagiShine used his magic to seal him away inside of the MagiLamp as a genie. Like a typical genie, at least according to pop culture, he can grant wishes, but he chooses to only grant one wish, and that's only if he's compensated first. Now, in terms of genies, the idea of genies granting wishes and being sealed inside of magic lamps is something that comes from fairy tales. Genies are known as jinn in Islam, and they are thought to be magical beings that live in a parallel world from humans, and were some of the beings created by Allah, the Islamic god. The idea of genies being inside of magical objects came from fairy tales and stories like the story of Aladdin from 1001 Arabian Nights. Though genies are not only said to be residing in lamps, they can reside in things like magic rings or bottles or jars. But thanks to the story of Aladdin and the adaptation in movie form, genies are most commonly associated with being in oil lamps like this. Additionally, it was also not completely originally stated that they could grant wishes. The idea from the original land story was that they were sealed inside of everyday ordinary objects that, thanks to them, became magical objects, and they would serve whoever possessed that object. Not exactly granting wishes, but being a servant to whoever possessed the lamp or the ring or whatever object the genie was sealed in. But here you have an interesting take where you have a cat genie. And we're going to take a closer look at him right here. We see his eyes, a little bit of his white face, his ears, a little bit of his crest along the head, and more of the kind of golden plating that is around his head. Additionally, you can take the face and twist it to the front, or twist it all the way to the other side, like that. And while we have him like this, we can start off and turn it on like this. We have the speaker right here, and we can get to the sounds in lamp mode. So, start off with him talking. It says, "Lamp, lamp, you call." And the way he works is, we can push him down, and we can make him pop open for a counting game. So, just before starting the game, I'm going to tell you how this works. So, basically, you first rub the spinner once to make him pop up and start the game. After that, he will ask you to spin the spinner, or rub the spinner, a number from 1 to 9. If you go and do it the right number, you will move on. If you get the wrong number, you fail the game and would have to start all over again. So we can start up like this, and I'll tell you what number he's doing while I play the game. So we'll start just like so. That's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoops, I got the wrong number. Okay, so I messed up there. I usually don't mess up like that, but that's an example of what happens when you mess up. So let's start this over again. Now I'll show you how it's done when you win. Now, as you saw, he said something after you got 3 consecutive wins, and he said pretty good. But when you fail, he says that that doesn't fly. That's not sufficient, or something along those lines. So let's start this over again. 1, 3, 2, 4, 3, 2, 8, 7, that's 9, and when you win, he says, "Alright, you pass." And this is basically kind of like a training mode to train, a little kid, not only in numbers, but in being able to spin the spinner a specific amount of times. Because, just gonna switch it off now. You can kind of rub it a bit too much. This is kind of for a little bit of precision within the rubbing. So we can then switch it back on. And to change it to Buster mode, we push down on the lid, take this handle here, press in this button, then move it down like so, and you got sound there, and it locks into place. Then we take this lever and pull it forward to extend the barrel, and here we have the MagiLamp in Buster mode, more commonly known as the MagiLamp Buster. And here is where it functions as MagiShine's weapon. So you've got the barrel, you've got the grip, and you've got this little trigger button right here. So while you can try firing it immediately after conversion like this, you'll find that's empty. And so to load the shots, what you have to do is rub it a certain amount of times, depending on how many shots you want. So for example, if I rub it 3 times, I get 3 shots. Rub it 2 times, 2 shots. And yeah, that does show that it does count the amount. 5 times, 5 shots. 6 times, 6 shots. And when you rub it 7 times, you get that little fully charged sound. Then you can press the trigger for the Smoky Shining attack, which is MagiShine's finisher attack. And so Smoky then says, "Let's go," and then you get the firing sound. And just to show something else, when you use the Smoky Shining attack, you don't get 6 more shots. That basically uses up every shot that you charged in there. Additionally, if you rub the spinner again after it's gone to 7, you'll get that same fully charged sound, meaning it doesn't go past there. Additionally, this can work for left-handed people too, because the spinner dial is also on the other side. Just like that. You can also have them like this in Buster mode, but as you probably noticed, converting it to Buster mode kind of locks up the spring mechanism for popping up Smoky's face. But still functions the same way. Just like that. And you don't have to use up every shot once you've charged. For example, you can charge 3 shots, use up 2, then charge 2 more times, and you still have 3 shots. So it's a very intelligent system that does keep note of how many times you've rubbed, and you can also conserve shots. For example, if you charge up some shots, you can still convert back there, but when you convert back, you won't have your shots anymore. And to convert back into lamp mode, you push in the barrel, then push back in the slider, and it locks into place like that. Then just use the button to convert back like that. Just like so. And there you have the MagiLamp. Now, to make an important note, for whatever reason, this was not released in America, where it was used by Solaris and known as the Solaris Laser Lamp. No toy was ever made out of it, and instead for Solaris Knight's weapon, he got a repaint of the Fetus Dragon battle staffs, which were the weapon of the Red Dragon Fire Ranger. Now, that's something I don't really get. I mean, certainly if it was released, it probably would have been modified from this version. But what I don't get is why it wasn't there wasn't a release of the Solaris laser lamp at all. Also, in America, Smoky the Magic Cat was known as Genji the Genie. And he had a pretty similar personality, and even the final attacks for the two were similar, where in Japan it's Smoky's Shining Attack, where in America it's the Genji Shining Attack. Also, when the Smoky Shining Attack is used by MagiBlue, it's called the Smoky Blue Shining Attack, and it's probably likely that I don't quite remember what it was called in America, but it was probably called the Genji Blue Shining Attack to be similar enough. Honestly, this is a very nice weapon. I'm just going to turn it off now. I like the design. It might seem a little bit small, but it actually isn't too bad when you hold it in your hands. Because oil lamps traditionally aren't all that big, and so, you know, if you're going to make a gun out of an oil lamp, it's not going to be too big either. But I still like it, despite how some people might see it as a bit small. This is kind of another underrated weapon. I've only I've only seen like 2 or 3 other videos on this, and like maybe 1 or 2 that actually have talking. So this is kind of this is like kind of a toy that's kind of been under-reviewed and kind of underrated. I personally like it a lot. Has a nice design. The rubbing motion is actually a nice kind of tribute to the way that rubbing a lamp summons out a genie. As well as the Buster mode, having, you know, a nice intelligent system of counting how many shots you have and only letting you fire when you've charged up shots, as opposed to a lot of other Sentai gun toys where you can just fire infinitely. Sometimes you have to continually press the trigger, and sometimes you can just hold the trigger. But this is a lot more interesting because it's more involved. I mean, with other gun toys, you just press the trigger like this. But for this one, you rub the spinner, and then you get the shots. So it's a lot more involved of a design, and that makes it a bit more fun. Additionally, this is, you know, unique because this is a toy that has no American counterpart. So this is recommendable to fans of either Magi-Shine or the Solaris Knight, or fans of Mystic Force or Magi-Ranger or Mystic Force, whichever order you prefer. But definitely a nice toy. You can find these on eBay. That's where I got mine. They don't go for too expensive, so they shouldn't be too hard to get. Though sometimes, as is common with a lot of Super Sentai weapons, they may be sold falsely under false pretenses, like they were Power Rangers toys. But you should be able to tell by the box, which will have Japanese writing on it and have window packaging, and also because there is no American version of this. If you find a toy of this and it looks like this, has that same size and shape, you're going to be finding the right toy. So definitely recommended. I love it. I'm glad I have it. And it is really a fun toy. I recommend to any Magi-Ranger or Mystic Force fan. So, please rate, comment, subscribe, and check out my blog at krx50.blogspot.com. And for now, this is KRX50, writing off.